Believe it or not, I really wanted to make a video about this guy 3 years ago, back when the 2020 NHL Draft was the main draft. This is because, if you remember what happened in this year's worth of guys, we had ourselves a pandemic, the draft was delayed till October, and as a result, you had an entire summers filled with conversations and videos about who would go first and who would go third, and we were kind of overanalyzing it a little bit because there were so many days to go before the draft actually came and went. But at the end of the day, we all kind of remember what happened. Alexis Lafreniere, first overall pick by the New York Rangers. You had Quinton Byfield, second overall pick by the Kings, and then everybody else followed suit. This video, though, is about a guy that we did not end up making a Why I Want video about, and that is one of my biggest regrets because I really did want to make it about him. We just did not have the time because we talked about other things instead. We're not talking about one of the Lafrenieres or the Byfields or one of the very top guys. No. Instead, we're going down to the 84th overall pick, because with this pick, the LA Kings selected a guy whose name you might be a tad familiar with, Alex Laferriere. And you know that meme that everybody says, oh, we've got Alexis Lafreniere at home, and the Alexis Lafreniere at home is this knockoff version whose name is pretty similar. No disrespect to Alex Laferriere, but that's just kind of the meme that I saw a lot of people going around there and throwing, oh, the Kings really wanted Lafreniere, so they drafted Laferriere in the third round. Well, big news out of the Kings today, because that Alex Laferriere has just signed his 3-year ELC through the 2024-2025 season. Take a look at this. Laferriere is a King. No, this is not Byfield. This is not Lafreniere. This is Laferriere. And when it comes to this player, he is a very interesting pickup for the LA Kings here. I mean, he was always a prospect in their organization, so not necessarily a pickup, quote-unquote. But if you go over to the profile here, take a look at what Laferriere is about. 21 years old, October 28, 2001 is the birth date. He's 6 feet, 172 as a right-handed right-wing player, signed till the end of 24-25. This season, he played for the Harvard University Crimson in the NCAA, getting 42 points in 34 games played. Very productive NCAA score after being a point-per-game guy with the Crimson last year, too. He had 2 very productive years in the National Collegiate system, and just seeing him transition over to the AHL has already been somewhat of a process. In 4 games played, on his tryout he had 1 goal. Unfortunate that the production isn't really all too high, but the Kings do see some potential in this player, which is why they signed him to the contract. Here is the scouting report on Laferriere from Elite Prospects. Alex Laferriere, not to be confused with Alexis Lafreniere, is a dangerous player off the rush. He gains the line and creates room for himself to make plays. Alex is a true dual-threat scorer and likes to play a real power game, even at a modest 6 feet and 179 pounds. Think a scoring forward with some grit, not the second coming of Cam Neely. Now, whoever wrote this, yeah, I don't really know if that was all too necessary, putting the Cam Neely bit at the end, but yeah, scoring forward with some grit. He had some really good production in the NCAA. Hopefully that carries over to higher levels of play. To help us out, we're going over onto Dobber Prospects, because their scouting report on Laferriere kind of talks about a few similar things. A good skating forward with a good shot. He plays a physical style game and can contribute in several fantasy categories. This is the write-up written by Sean Crocker back from June of 2022. After establishing himself as a force in the USHL, Laferriere took his talent to Harvard, where he won several ECAC awards, including Rookie of the Year, and multiple all-conference teams. This is not a surprise, as Laferriere has found a way to dominate at every level he has played at, but what is more impressive is his tenacity and how he can translate his physical play into quality scoring opportunities. At 6'1", 180, there could still be room for physical growth in his frame, making him even more dangerous when he works his way into the AHL and eventually the NHL. The forward remains unsigned as of last year. He's signed today, so it's likely he returns for at least another season in the NCAA. He has shown himself to be a strong shooter with upside in the hits department, indicating he could be on his way to becoming a strong player in multi-category formats. With an NHL-ready shot and frame, look for Laferriere to continue to climb up the rankings for keeper and dynasty leagues. Now, Dobber is writing these from the perspective of a fantasy draft participant, so that's kind of their bread and butter. If you are in a fantasy keeper league, whatever, then hey, this is kind of the scouting report for you. But Alex Laferriere has been a Kings prospect for the past 3 years. He is now signed. He is now officially in the NHL system, full send, and this is a pretty big deal because if the Kings can develop this guy to the point that he actually does play in the NHL, having Laferriere and Byfield on a line together would just be so funny. And I know I'm kind of making a meme out of this because of the guy's name, but he legitimately was talented enough to warrant the contract and to get all the awards that he did in the NCAA. He was a champion, he was on the All-Rookie team, Rookie of the Year, also on the third All-Star team for ECAC. Lots of good stuff to happen here with Alex Laferriere, and Kings fans, y'all should be excited because this is a pretty good prospect, if I do say so myself. So, thoughts in the comment section below about Alex Laferriere, the newest Kings signee. Let me know your opinions about him and his development. What do you think he's going to accomplish in the short and long-term future? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.